This week I was feeling creative, however, none of the 10,000 projects that I've already started and not completed were appealing to me. So I figured, why not start another one? To make matters worse, I found myself in that place where a lot of artists find themselves, where they're feeling creative, but they're not really sure what to create. To help solve this problem, I recently ordered Create This Book 3 by Moriah Elizabeth. Now, if you've been living under a rock and you've never heard of Moriah, she is one of the biggest arts and crafts content creators here on YouTube. She is a lot of fun to watch. Fun projects, kooky sense of humor, family-friendly content. Definitely check her out. I promise you'll love her. Anyways, I have seen so many artists here on YouTube tackle her 101 prompts and it looked like fun. So I thought, why not give it a try? So that is what we're gonna do today. Are you ready to jump in? Because ready or not, we are jumping. So buckle up. While flipping through the book, I did find 2 prompts that jumped out at me, so I'll be tackling those today. First one up is create a duo. Draw 2 people, places, or things that are better together. This immediately made me think of my favorite pair-up, peanut butter and chocolate. So I decided to draw a jar of peanut butter with a pile of chocolate. Anyone who knows me knows that I am a sucker for anything sweet, but peanut butter and chocolate is it for me. If I could live on Reese's Cups, I would. For all 3 drawings, I decided to skip over the sketching and go straight to the line work with my Micron PN liner, since I felt it might be a bit boring for you to be dragged through both. My overall goal was to avoid getting too hung up on detail. I wanted to simplify things, shoot for a more illustrative style rather than realism, but everything in me was fighting it. In the past, I always preferred realism, but again, I am super rusty. I had to keep reminding myself the goal for these prompts was to get my brain back into a creative process, work on my skills, and work on understanding the supplies. It wasn't about getting hyper-focused on perfection. That said, I didn't want straight up lazy attempts either. The line work was driving me crazy. I am so out of practice, it was coming out wobbly and shaky, so I found myself going over the lines a few times to try to smooth them out. For the background, I filled in the circle with scribbles to add some texture. I do plan to add color, but I've done this in the past and I really liked how it had turned out, so I decided to give it another try. Once all the line work was done, I jumped in with my Copic markers. With the color done, let's go back in, add a few more details with my Micron, add some depth to the shadows with colored pencil, and add some highlights with a Posca. Then sign it. The first half of this prompt got me thinking about my grandmother who passed away in 2019. She too was a Reese's nut. Between the 2 of us, we were terrible. Our Reese's addiction got me thinking about my favorite sundae from a restaurant back home called Friendly's. And I thought this could be a great way to fill in the second page for this prompt. Friendly's was big in New England when I was a kid, and it's one of those places where people might go for breakfast or lunch or dinner, but they all really went for the ice cream. Not to say the food is bad, the sundaes are just the devil. As a kid, I would go with my grandparents, where I'd get a kid's sundae that was made to look like a clown's face. My mom would also reward us with a trip to Friendly's if we made good grades in elementary school. Then as a teenager, once we're old enough to drive, my friends and I would go there to eat, hang out, and of course, order ice cream. My favorite Friendly's sundae is a Reese's Pieces sundae. It's made up of vanilla ice cream topped with hot chocolate sauce, hot peanut butter sauce, whipped cream, Jimmy's, what we call the longer brown sprinkles back home, Reese's Pieces, and a cherry. Normally, I would swap the vanilla ice cream out for chocolate. But for this drawing, I decided to go with how it comes standard. Color-wise, I felt between the dark brown chocolate sauce and the lighter brown peanut butter sauce, a brown ice cream would make it all blend together too much. I needed a little contrast. With the line work complete, let's add some color. With the color done, let's add a few more details with my micron, add some depth with colored pencil, add highlights with the Posca, add the Jimmy's, and sign it. Before we jump into the next prompt, we need to add these two images to the book. And that's where I'm planning on doing something a little different than what I've seen other artists do. Instead of taking my original work, taking scissors to it to make it fit, and gluing it in, I've decided to make color copies of the originals that will be glued into the book instead. I feel like this will also keep my book from getting too bulky since the printer paper is a lot thinner than marker paper. As for my originals, most may not turn out to be portfolio worthy, but I would still like to save them and protect them. So while I was at the office supply store, I purchased a document box to keep the originals in. Now I can tuck them away without having to worry about them getting ruined. And if there are some that turn out better than expected, I'll have easy access to them if I'd like to make prints. I will say the cover of this box is looking a little naked. Future painting project, perhaps? What do you think? Back to our first prompt. I do wish I planned out a light source better. I feel like my shadows are all over the place. I love the scribble texture in the background. Between the two, the sundae is definitely my favorite. It just brings back a lot of fun memories with my family and my friends, and it's making me hungry. I might have to cave and make myself one this weekend. Now let's jump into prompt number 2. The last prompt for today is: create a swarm. Draw a swarm of bugs. Give them a purpose. With this prompt, I am letting you in on one of my deepest, darkest childhood secrets, which led to my grandmother, my Reese's loving partner in crime, nicknaming me Ladybug. What could I have done to earn such a cutesy nickname? Well, I mass murdered a swarm of them. In New England, we would get swarmed with ladybugs every spring. They would be everywhere. And I loved them. I still do. When I was about, 4 or 5, I took a coffee can and I started putting every ladybug I could find in the can. My grandmother happened to be over that day, and as I got older, she liked to retell the story about how I once caught so many ladybugs in a coffee can, the inside looked like it was crawling. The unfortunate part is, being an easily distracted 4 or 5-year-old, I left the can out in the sun and all the little ladies met a very untimely, crispy end. As for the purpose behind this swarm of bugs, I guess it would be in a way to release the little buggers that I accidentally fried. Or maybe they found a way to escape. Little ladybug Houdinis, perhaps. I don't know. While wrapping up the line work, I'll admit I had some trouble with this one when it came to filling in larger spaces with color. I couldn't get even coverage with the markers, which was driving me nuts, but I think it was more user error on my part. Also, the grass. I loved the texture I created with the markers, but I don't know what I was thinking attempting to go in with colored pencil and the micron. Sometimes less is more, and you just need to know when to stop. Now for the final round of details with my micron, Posca, and colored pencils. Then sign and date. With the drawing complete, let's copy, cut, paste, and save. Looking back at our swarm, even though I struggled with this one, I really like it. I love the ladybugs that are flying away to safety. I like the two showing as shadows through the lid of the can. I love the shading on the can, and I really like the texture of the grass. Unfortunately, the handle to the shovel and the rake were cut out of the copy, but I love that I was able to cut away the mess I made of the grass for the prompt to show. With our last prompt finished, let's have a look back at what was created this week. First, I created a duo of my favorite pair-up, peanut butter and chocolate. This combo is just the devil, a total diet buster. I think I gained 10 pounds just looking at it. For the second prompt, I created a swarm with a purpose, where I revisited a slightly morbid childhood memory that earned me a family nickname. Then I tweaked it, giving it a happier ending for my little ladies. This just makes me want to go back to simpler times. And that is all the prompts we have for this week. I liked the Sunday drawing so much, I ordered prints. So I should have 25 of them arriving in about a week and a half or so. I do have them listed now in my shop for sale. If those 25 sell out, I might order more, but I only plan on signing the first batch of 25. So it'll be a limited run of signed prints. I've left a link below to purchase a print if you'd like to grab one for yourself. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you would like to see me tackle more prompts from Create This Book 3, please let me know in the comments. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you again here very soon.